I have 2 kids. My son is 2, he's nearly 3, and I've got a 3-month-old Eden, who I literally gave birth to back in April, right in the middle of the pandemic. And yeah, that was another experience in itself. So with my son, I didn't feel like I was listened to at all, and I'll tell you why. Basically, I had late diagnosed preeclampsia. Midway through my pregnancy, I was showing signs of protein in my urine. I was also showing signs of high blood pressure. This wasn't picked up by the midwives. And it wasn't until the end, right at the end of my pregnancy, and I'd swallowed up, you know, it looked like I'd swallowed a house. It was really bad. I was swollen everywhere. Every single bit of my body was swollen. And the midwife said, look, I went to an appointment. The midwife said, you've got to go straight to the hospital. This is quite dangerous. I don't feel comfortable you even going home. You just need to, don't even bother about your hospital bag. Ask someone to get that for you. Just go straight to the hospital and let them check you over. So I went into the hospital. It was just, everything was just kind of all over the place in terms of, you know, I was told you can't leave the hospital without having this baby. It's very, very dangerous. We have to induce you. We have to get the baby out right now. And I felt like that negative language used from the offset kind of set the tone for what happened with my labour. So I was induced. And the reason I say that I wasn't listened to was because when the midwife put the hormone inside of me, she said, oh, it's going to take at least 24 hours for the hormones to kick in and for your labour to start. So about 5-6 hours later, when, you know, I was contracting, I didn't know at the time it was contractions, but when I started contracting, I asked the nurse to kind of, okay, can you check me over? I'm starting to feel a little bit of pain. I'm not too sure what this is. And she was like, oh, it's fine. You're just in early stages. Don't worry about it. And I was fobbed off, basically. That's the honest truth. I felt like I was just being a bother, and it wasn't until a few hours later, you know, I progressed, I would say, relatively quite quickly for a first timer. I was vomiting, I was in the toilet, I was vomiting, I was, you know, in a really bad way. And then my waters broke, you know, like amidst all the chaos. And when the midwife did finally check me, she said I was 8 centimeters gone, and the look of shock on her face, because she, you know, I was basically labouring for hours without any pain relief because I wasn't relieved and I wasn't checked over. So I was rushed into the delivery room. There was just a swarm of doctors and midwives all around me. I had to be rushed into the delivery room. And you know what? By the time it was time for me to push, I was just so tired I couldn't even push. I actually just couldn't do it. I was at my wit's end, honestly. So we had to use, the midwives had to use a forceps, so it was an assisted delivery. So yeah, I guess in terms of not being listened to, feeling like my pain wasn't taken seriously, I think that's why it was really important for me to start off the 5 times more campaign. Because when we had the Embrace statistics back in 2018 and 2019, you know, it said black women are 5 times more likely to die in comparison to a white woman during pregnancy and childbirth. And I was surprised, but I wasn't shocked. So I joined forces with my friend, Rebecca from Prosperities, who supports Black and South Asian women during their pregnancies. So with the 5 times more campaign, what we ask women is, we've got 5 steps, which are, number 1, speak up. Again, I felt like I couldn't speak up. And what we aim to do is empower women to speak up if they feel that something just isn't right. The second one is to have an advocate for you. So that's someone that can speak on your behalf if you feel like you cannot speak during your pregnancy and during your labour. So that's someone that's clued up about what's happening in your pregnancy and your labour and can speak up on your behalf when you can't. The third one we ask people to do is to seek a second opinion. So a lot of people don't know that if you are not happy with your care, you can actually request to see another midwife or another doctor. or you can ask somebody else to check you over if you feel like you are receiving a substandard level of care or you don't feel like you're being listened to. The fourth one we ask people to do is to trust their gut. So nobody knows their body better than themselves. Nobody knows you better than you. So if you feel like something really isn't right, you feel like you've got a headache, you feel like, you know, you've got some pain that's really, you know, not just something just not right, and somebody is telling you otherwise, you know your pain, so you know what's going on in your body. So trust your gut feelings, and again, speak up. So that relates back to number one. And then the last step is to do their research through recommended websites such as NICE, Patient.org and NHS. So those are five recommended steps from the 5 Times More campaign that we give to pregnant women to empower them and make them feel like they have a voice and that they feel like they are listened to during their labour experience. So yeah, that's what we do with 5 Times More.
Everyone has their own story about motherhood to tell, and we would love to hear yours. Tell yours in the comment below.